All right, we are live.
We are.
Yes, surprise, surprise, we are live on YouTube. And the last word I heard was that this was a place for spoken word. A verbal visual gallery of lyrical works, each line designed to make your brains twerk, all said, some of them written, all spin into a mic check, 1, 2, shifting your points of perspective and adapting to your points of view. But as for me, I'm here to see that the job gets done. There's no fantasies of yellow brick roads and no time for forest to run, because in my mind, each line should beat like a drum line from your heart to your mind, motivating your mouth to get shout-outs.
Rewind.
I said in my mind, each line should beat like a drum line from your heart to your mind, motivating your mouth to get shout-outs and rewinds, and at the very least, each piece should brushstroke the canvas, leaving you high as a kite as if your hookah was laced with cannabis, transforming this place into a space where lovers of this art can demand this and anything. Blessed and mic shuts and mics tonight here at Tbones Hot Spot, just might leave the crowds pissed. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's edition of Wordplay Cafe. Thank you. We're going to kick off the show. We are running a little late. Weather, football, boxing nights, all this, that, and the third, but it is what it is, and we're going to do what we do because that's what we do. I'm joined this evening, as usual, with my lovely co-host, Desiree. Working diligently at the sound board. She's a sound technician tonight. But we're going to keep moving forward. Come on up, David. What?
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another installment of Wordplay Cafe here at Tbones Hot Spot. You always drinking on the job. Let me see. We have two guidelines. Not rules. We don't like rules because we tend to break them. We have two guidelines. First guideline, when you're here at Wordplay Cafe, we pretty much like it to be interactive. If someone says something that really resonates with you, if you want to hear it again, you yell,
rewind.
If it's something that you just really like, it touch you in some way, shake your keys if you have them, clap your hands, snap your fingers, stomp your feet, tap on your table. No, don't tap the mic, don't listen to him. We don't want you up here interrupting the person that's here. The second guideline, but I wasn't there. The second guideline is respect the mic. Basically, that just means when someone is up here, try to keep it down to a dull roar, the conversation. Public speaking is the number one fear of us people. We make it look easy. It's terrifying. As Michael likes to say,
the frog in my throat tends to eat the butterflies in my stomach.
and that's pretty much what happens. I have pterodactyls personally, and they do some crazy flying around in here. I'm shaking like a leaf inside, but my personal motto, never let them see you sweat. Always make it look easy and fun and confident inside. You're going, ah! And with that being said,
I got a new piece. Yes.
New piece.
New piece.
We have a new piece by Device One.
Thank you. Hope everyone managed to get a seat because it's this piece is actually, can you hear me? I don't like using the microphone. But come on in. Hey, what's that? All right, you get the all drinks on him, last guy in.
How you doing?
This piece is something that I actually wrote for an event that I did last night. I was invited out to the WSLR annual celebration. Something they were commemorating the 50th anniversary of the signing of the Civil Rights Act. So we had a mixed roster of talent: dancers, singers, rappers, spoken word artists, painters. It was great. totally mixed crowd. Black, white, Spanish, Italian, everybody was in the house. We had dancers. I thought about it, Bonnie. We had dancers. But this piece I wrote, and it's unusual. Anyone that knows me knows that I usually like to memorize my work. Challenge with this piece was that throughout the course of the invitation, more and more bits and pieces just kept coming at me from different directions. And literally, until about 3:30 yesterday, I was still writing this piece. So I ended up printing it out and bringing it with me. Told you this is why I don't like microphones. So, instead of reciting as I normally do, bear with me while I read for you. Perfect timing. Freedom has always been a matter of timing. Brothers and sisters in every shade of black and white, dressed in black and white and expressed in black and white what they found wrong and right with this time. Marking time, they formed peaceful protest lines, but the timing was never quite right. And it was just another day to them as another freedom fighter died in plain sight, and they gave up their rights and just left. Left the only reason for marching in the first place, because his death had only accelerated the pace of the war on race and transformed the situation from advantageous negotiations to a scenario best described as the worst case. You see, they traded alibis for lives, because now they just shoot to kill for no reason. And from the hoods of Chi-Town to the woods of Ferguson, they're justifying the rumors that it's always been open season. And while few shooters are ever found, jailed, or convicted, the punishment straight from the Capitol is still inflicted, and the minds of the oppressed were reset. Because freedom has always been a matter of time. And maybe the eyes of justice are blind, but we see everything. And when all that you can hear are the mother's cries of injustice, it's harder still to hear freedom ring. And just because you can see from Main Street to the beach doesn't mean that we've resolved the homeless veterans trying not to die here on these Sarasota streets. And you should choose to eschew the slippery slope of discussing those dirty deeds being done dirt cheap. And so we sing and we march while they wait and they watch. With rooftop snipers ready to wipe them out of the history books just because they paused or took too long a wrong look, because no one should have to die to live free, right? Not in this technologically advanced, so-called civilized society, right? But if that's his will, then by Allah, God, and or Yahweh, be blessed. And I can guarantee you'll have 500,000 YouTube views before the first morning edition rolls off your local press, because freedom has always been a matter of time. So please recognize that Freedom's March has entered a brand new age, where we're no longer confined to that voice that you hear on the radio or those well-chosen words on the page. And me, well, I just want to release this piece from the palm of my hand and deliver these pieces of peace to the streets of my fellow man, because the revolution has never been televised, and freedom has always been a matter of timing. And somewhere right now, he's only got Skittles and iced tea. Somewhere right now, he can't breathe. He can't breathe. Somewhere right now, he's got his seatbelt on. Somewhere right now, he's got his hands up. Somewhere right now, the timing is perfect for freedom. Thank you. I'm not a big fan of this microphone at all. Now I feel I can fly free. Thank you for that. Something else that we're doing tonight, we've got the open list here at Ivana's table. This is officially Ivana's table.
and baby.
And a knife. She's standing out on the table, but Heather at the table. Table two. So if anyone would like to sign up, especially the dude just walked in, you're more than welcome, but we do have some people on here already, so take a look, see. Oh, please. And you can always go freestyle, you know what I'm saying? We freestyle all the time. Daisy will beatbox, and You get it all. Nope.
Yeah, okay,
No,
not tonight, sorry, not tonight.
Next Saturday. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome to the microphone this evening, Lois.
All right. The one.
Hello? Can you hear me? Can I hear you? Okay. Hello? How's that?
That's good.
Alright. Okay. This one I wrote a long time ago and it seemed appropriate again, so here it goes. It's called The Golden Frog. I awoke in a wondrous place of soft breezes and bright sunshine. I heard magical music and everything was light and fresh, and I saw him. The golden frog awaited with a quiet, purposeful smile. We sailed away in blue vapor to a welcoming destination. We sipped sweet nectar and we saw the moon. Our dance was shy and deliberate, and the time slipped away until it was too late and the moment was gone. I was intoxicated by his smile and his steady, strong eyes, the golden frog who saw my naked soul. We were enveloped by the sun and sky on a pleasant bay where eagles glide, and my truth shone through to the golden frog and it glowed with transparency. Was he really here? Was it all a dream? Was it once again my relentless imagination playing with my senses? Only the lilting melody remains as a reminder of the golden frog, a legend, a leader, a visionary, a healer, a travel on wide journeys of destiny, of purpose, of charmed gifts, so delicate and powerful in grace, of generosity beyond measure, strength and instinct, and of sterling character. The golden frog's focus is elusive, straight, and true.
Nice,
As I bounce off the microphone. Okay. This one I wrote quite a while ago, and I wanted to share it with a friend who was having a hard time, so I'll share it here and then I'll send it to him. Abyss. What is this place? I find myself here more often now. Too deep to let go and too high to climb out. I struggle and try to hold on to the slippery edge. I pump my legs and try to fly, only to tumble and hit the ground. I must avoid assault, and still this vessel fails to save itself. I sleep, but dreams elude my mind. Not even fantasy comes forth. I know no safe direction here, not up or down, nor a distant north. My memory, nor any hope-filled plan. I walk the tightrope, then I spin and fall and grab the slippery edge of the abyss I've fallen on. Perhaps the dream within the dream is simply playing with my head. Am I awake or do I sleep as round and round I twist in bed?
Yeah.
And this is the last one. It's called In Between. And it has an illustration. It's a picture of a naked woman sitting on a chair with a tree for a hat and birds in the tree. In between.
I got it.
Birds in the tree.
Okay. He vouches for the picture. Yes. Okay. I've never been friends with in between, preferring rather this or that, a conclusion, a clear definition of what is, or was, or will be. And yet in between has usually proven to be my friend in the end, ushering in a new and different something that was just outside my window, just out of sight, approaching surely and swiftly with the element of surprise, its wrapping, and clarity, its ribbon bow. Patience has never been my friend. I cannot wait. I could never wait. And sometimes it seemed a better choice to cause something, anything, than to endure the verge that simply slyly waited outside my door and proceeded on its own course, out of my vision and control. And yet I patiently wait for the bud to bloom that I planted with my own hands, for the sweet seedling to emerge from the fresh soil that I have tenderly prepared for its arrival. Like the birth of a child, arriving when ready, to grow into itself and become mature and beautiful, to find its place in the air and soul and fluid, the place we call life. I am now in the place of in-between, so I fidget and twist, and my mind is convinced that this is where I shall remain, in a purgatory of my own impatience, of my own frustration and restlessness. Just around the corner, just down the path, invisible, a few more strokes and everything will change and become new and different. And in between will dance away, knowing we'll meet again one of these days, and I will be the predictable one who hems and haws and cannot wait any longer, knowing all will be revealed and we'll both chuckle at the folly of it all.
Thank you, Lord. Let's hear it one more time. Oh, shit. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the night. Desiree.
Yeah, the one tomorrow is crazy. It's the main one people come from. But I gotta work with that. Yeah. They get on that.
Okay, since I've been volunteered to do what, 3 pieces? Okay, I don't have any new pieces for tonight. However, I do have some pieces that I have not done in quite some time. Last year, Michael and I did something called Life in 5 Slices.
May I have your attention, please?
Respect the mic.
Oh, here we go.
You're not that guy, Mike? That's how we do the fifth slice, of course, would be death or an end, and this is entitled My Baby Brother. I watched him as he slept, my baby brother, a grown man now, 3 children, a dog and a wife, a family to take care of. While he sleeps, I remember us as children. We were inseparable, he and I. I protected him as fiercely as a lioness protects her cubs. As teenagers, he protected me. The first few years of his life, he was left-handed, until he realized I wasn't, so he switched. With his handwriting, he should have been a doctor, but he worked with his hands. In middle school, he sang. How I loved his voice. I could feel it vibrate in my chest. I could hear his in a sea of voices. In high school, he decided he wanted to fly. He built ailerons and talked to the Air Force recruiter. He was on his way, a pilot. If no one else could see it, I could. But all of that changed when he became aware of his blackness. With his hair now in dreads, he left his dream of flying behind and became what they call a laborer. But he was happy, my baby brother. And as I watch him sleep, I keep up the brave face for my children. At least that's what I tell myself until the casket arrives. And as they prepare to lower him into the ground, I'm unaware of what's going on around me. As I rise, turn, and attempt to leave this nightmare come to life. A life without him, my baby brother. So as I watched him sleep, his dreamless, forever sleep, I see the man he'd become, that I remember us as children. My baby brother. Thank you.
That's not true.
First time I read that, I cried. I couldn't even finish reading it. But it was good because I read it to Michael, and it's good thing I read it to him first, because then by the time I actually did perform it, I held it together like tonight. Through the tears running out behind my eyes, but I held it together. I'm good. Along with that, I guess you can say, program that we did. Sometimes love doesn't turn out to be what it should be or what we need it to be. This is entitled Bitter Love. Baby, I love you. He yelled these words as he was led out of the house in handcuffs. He yelled these words as the ambulance took her away. Again. But it wasn't always this way. He didn't always show his love with hard words, hard hands. But one day, a push became a shove became a slap became a punch became a kick became a beating. She tried to understand what happened. The first push, he overreacted. The first shove, he misunderstood my actions. The first slap, maybe I shouldn't have laughed at him. The first punch, maybe if I'm really careful how I say what I say. The first kick, I don't understand. The first beating, why me? And because she was ashamed, she stayed. Because she felt no one would understand, she stayed. Because he always apologized, she stayed. Because when he was sorry, things were almost like in the beginning, she stayed. But as the ambulance sped away with her in it, one last time, as she felt herself drifting away, she thought, but he said he. Thank you. Not too many of my pieces are uplifting, sorry. I'm glad. This next piece should do it for you then. As soon as I find it. This piece does not have a title. I don't know, I just never could really come up with a name for it. As soon as I find it. There's so much on here. I'm so good. Thank you. I love Boyz II Men. So we can just group the Motown Philly for just a minute while I find this.
Days respect is down. Let me remind everybody that we are broadcasting live. Okay, let's get YouTube. YouTube.com.
Yeah, Tbones Hot Spot.
Tbones Hot Spot. All right.
On YouTube.
And feel free to join us here. We're going to be doing this every other weekend, every other Saturday. 2667 Long Drive, Tbones Hot Spot. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. No, just Facebook. But feel free to look us up. Either Tbones Hot Spot or Michael Paragon, Days Read the Poet, Device One, or Wordplay Cafe. Yeah, we're all over the place. All over the place. Try it.
In fact, I'm placing the link on Facebook as we speak.
And there's a link on Facebook now. Trust. And I think Daisy's found what she's looking for.
Yes, I have. As I said before, this piece is untitled. I wrote this just about 2 years ago. I apologize now.
In advance.
It's the empty. The dark at the end of the tunnel. People like to believe there's a light, but there isn't. And you recognize the dark. It's familiar. Like an old lover, it touches you in places no one else knows. But like a stalker, you just can't seem to shake it. It's everywhere. You eat, only because it's required for continued existence. Although you're not sure why you want to continue existing. You laugh and smile, but there's really nothing to laugh about, and the smile never reaches your eyes. But it keeps people from asking questions. You talk when all you want is to be left alone. But if you don't speak, then they'll think something's wrong. And if they only knew how right they would be. You go out, socialize, when all you want to do is lock yourself away from everything and everyone. But then someone will call to ask where you've been, disrupting the quiet, invading your solitude, forcing you to dig yourself into a deeper hole of lies. So you lie with your actions instead of your words, hoping no one will notice, hoping someone will figure it out, wanting to be alone, wanting someone to save you from yourself, wanting something, anything, but it's the empty, the dark at the end of the tunnel. People like to believe there's a light, but there isn't. Depression. Thank you.
Wow. Wow.
I do apologize.
Yeah.
Needless to say, it was a pretty rough time 2 years ago in October. I'm sorry. Not a very, very dark place, but it was kind of ochre. It wasn't quite black, but yeah, ish. What, no music? Yes, I'm coming off now. I think I've depressed everyone enough. I think we've heard enough uplifting pieces from me. Oh wait, there's more. I'll be back.
Okay. I'm gonna try a little something different because I've been in too many rooms like this where everyone says, "Oh man, their poetry is awesome. I wish I could do this. I wish I could do that." We're all poets. You guys may not want to wear that hat. You may not want to claim the title, but we're all poets. And I'm going to prove it to you. Let's take 10 minutes and do a little exercise. No, it's not the 10-minute poetry challenge. Although we ought to bring that back tonight, but not tonight. Total surprise to my partner. She's trying to figure it all out. There's a little poetry device that I've seen circulated quite often, and we've done it before, called a 6-word story. So, 6-word stories are literally stories composed of 6 words. But in those 6 words, you get the whole picture, you get the whole meaning, and it is poetry. I heard some real poignant ones today, like it's our 50th table for one. It's our 50th table for one. So in those 6 words, you get the idea that this is a person who is celebrating their anniversary by themselves. So let's take 10 minutes and see how many 6-word stories we can come up with. And the objective here, hopefully I've got a room full of coffee drinkers, coffee lovers, drinks on me. The best 6-word story is on me. All right? 6-word story. And yeah, Deidre and I are going to be in on this. So yeah. Go for it. We got a 10-minute song?
You don't have 10 minutes on the 2 that are close to 10.
Couple 5s? A good 7? Let it run, and we'll just watch the pop. Oh, we're going to get a Spanish track. All right. Oops. It came out. Yeah, I'm not from what I heard. That was terrible. All right, guys, back in 10 to check on your 6-word stories.
Baby coming through, baby coming through, baby. During the day, I'm usually tomorrow, I'm probably gonna open in the evening. What time are you leaving? Probably not. Tomorrow, I'm taking the day, watch football, and whatever. I gotta be better in the evening, so I'll probably open around 5:30. We know I'm over it. We know the house over on Bronx, where you stayed that one night. On Bronx, all that work. I live there now, so that's where I am. So you still got my number, right? Yeah. So yeah, call me, call us around and call me. What's up, where you go?
Yeah, we got a big job coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sleep on it. Five in the morning, 5 in the morning.
Great. I've had my.
It's great. I know it's 7 C's, that's the Italian. No, I told you. He just said See, the Italian. Heard it here first. Yeah, it was simple, but so good. Man, it is power of rushing 1 hour. Yeah, I don't think I've never had something big and soup, you know. Yeah, so anything growing?
I didn't eat it. Okay. I mean, I don't use but that's, I'm not running out of this. You still have that? I used it before me.
Yeah, all stuff in between, like the cash, right? Bring on another 1,000. Yeah. Maintenance, he said, as long as you keep gas in it, you can take it out whenever you want to. That was a sweet deal.
67
Was it 40? That's huge. It had a massive cabin, had an F cabin, and it was the kitchen. We would get down, we couldn't tell us nothing. Leather, all leather, everything leather. Somebody burnt the leather one night, smoking. Oh, Lord. Oh, yeah, no, it's outside, yeah, I mean, the detail, we kept the detail, we kept the process clean, all the stuff, I mean, it was, yeah. But I mean, we got to take it, we probably took it out every weekend, I'm not mistaken, we went out a lot on it. Then we had to move it different places to not get, we ended up stopping it up in Longboat Key, we had over in Jimmy's place over in the Casey Fish House. We had over there. Like our boat.
Thank you, Zach. Yeah. Time's up, pins down.
All right.
That's how we're going just in time.
We'll be opening up regular.
All right. Who wants to go first?
Summer hours.
Okay. All right. It's got to be a sacrificial poet.
You wanna go first?
Oh, I'll go first. All right.
Denise and I did a collaboration together.
Yeah.
Yes.
Come on.
So,
Bring it down. It's live. All the way live.
Denise.
He said,
You say.
You do the first.
No,
is this 6 words?
6 words.
No.
Please.
Are y'all doing 3 words apiece?
Yeah.
Six words shouldn't take long.
God is good. God is great.
There you go.
Just missed the 6 words for the first one. First one. All right. Okay. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Thanks to me.
So, without a doubt, you guys are on the board. You
Okay.
guys good?
That's it.
For mine, we never loved before or now.
Okay. All right.
Desiree's got it. Okay, love this Okay,
But they all go together.
well, we wanna do a bit and a piece, you guys wanna do the whole run?
My whole thing is a thing.
I've got like 5.
Can we just do like ours and then, because
Okay.
mine kind of fun.
All right,
I mean, that's me though.
that's all right. This is the first time we've ever done this, so we'll figure this out. Let's do them all, and then move on to the next person. Sure.
You happy to? Okay, what's your name? Ashley.
Ashley. Let's hear from Ashley. Ashley, 6 words. Ashley. No pressure. Camera.
What are we doing here? Let's play.
Ashley's on the board. All right. Let me knock these out. Let's figure out where we go from there.
Yeah.
I already did We Never Loved Before or Now. Happiness has always left me alone. The smallest caskets are the heaviest.
Yes. That's a good one.
My ending was my beginning point.
Nice.
And lastly, we always cried together, not today.
Bravo.
Kindness is stronger than your weakness.
Oh, yeah.
Get right or just get left.
Come on, buddy.
Is that personal?
Before to leave, before to stop. Before to leave, before to stay.
I realize you guys just walked in. I think you gotta get the gist of what we're doing. Okay, we're working on the system. Yeah? Yeah, we're doing 6-word stories.
6 words.
6 words, yeah, it's, I guess.
I got a comment.
If you gotta take the shoe off or whatever, that's fine, you know. Do it. But yeah, we're just trying a little something here, because everybody's a poet, everybody's a writer, you know. You can get it done in 6 words. So that's the challenge.
So the launch man, you got one.
It's a poem, but, you know.
Is it,
You gotta say it.
We're not ready for
If
that.
it's more than 6 words, we're not ready for that.
We're not ready for this.
Oh, man. We ain't ready for it, Can you summarize it in 6 words? No, it's a short,
So you do that.
Yeah, you gotta wait till after 6 words.
Yeah, I got to wait till after 6 words. I'll tell you what, when you are signed up, so you're on the open mic, we'll get that. But let's figure out if this is all our submissions. You guys aren't even running? There's a free cup of coffee. Actually, I'm paying for it.
Haven't started.
All right, well, we're kind of summarizing it right now. So. Any other submissions? Lois? Let her rip? Yeah. Come with it.
Oh! Y'all took mine.
It would be my dream for my son to be watching this because he knows I never follow instructions. So of course I did this entirely differently my own way.
She's got a 7-word goal.
No, I've got 10 6-words.
Let's figure
Ooh.
it out. All right.
Ready? So the first one is she ran, then flew, then soared. Next one. He watched, he heard, he declined. They sang solo, each of them. I know it was the truth. I tried to bend the truth. Their truths have vanquished unrealistic expectations.
30-point words.
He climbed mountains, she swam fast. Altitudes and attitudes did not work. And so they went their ways, each with hope and good hearts.
I said, you can be the judge since actually.
What was the judging?
It was judging?
How are we gonna do that? Everybody go? Someone's gotta win.
Was a contest, but,
Someone's gotta win.
okay, let me think. It's not gonna be you.
Ooh.
Because you're the host, so you can't win. Yes.
Okay.
You buy your own coffee anywhere.
Why don't we
Okay,
take a vote?
wanna take a vote?
What do you think?
By applause.
Yeah.
Show of applause? Okay. Okay.
Everybody got to redo their thing?
No. By show of applause, Kevin. Okay. Ashley's not, oh, there she is.
Yeah.
By show of applause, Ashley. Okay. Kim. By show of applause, Kim. Okay. Patricia and Denise. Patricia and Denise. Lois, I'm so ashamed. Lois. Since apparently it's brought to my attention, Patricia needs to get free coffee anyway.
Thank you. Oh, so.
Let me see.
Y'all won, but didn't.
Yeah.
Hey, there's my 6.
It's a 19.
I'm Kevin and
Baby.
I decline and I would like.
you decline and you like
Baby.
it. Okay.
Yeah, both feet
Okay.
down.
Well, our free cup of coffee goes to
All right.
Kevin.
Kevin, Quentin Portis looking Kevin.
And Kevin, congratulations. Congratulations. Oh, no problem, no problem. Now, this also means the next time we have a show, you're going to be our featured poet. So we need to cover about 30 minutes worth of poetry. Yeah. Just bring everything you got. Oh, that was fun.
Yes, it was.
That was fun.
Yes, it was.
And I told you guys, everybody in here is a poet. Everybody's a writer. You might not want to claim the word title, but we all do this.
Y'all won what you did.
We just don't all come up to the mic like we do. Well, I guess you got baby here, so I'll go ahead and cover for now. All right.
You just don't know.
I hear you. I know you guys that just walked in here also. We do have the open mic available. I wasn't sure if you wanted to sign up. Come out and do a piece. Just here to enjoy the ride. All right, not a problem. I just want to make sure everybody has your opportunity. And with that being said,
Oh, thank you.
Lamar,
That's why I'm there.
hey, we're the next winner on the open mic. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome to the mic. Lamar.
Everybody got over the monster. What? He's sucking out the cup.
This is called the faith in him. And you know who I mean by him. If you see this, what I start to say. This is powerful here. That's what I feel. Oh, I see the faith in him after 2 strokes. Oh, I see the faith in him having seizures in my sleep. Still get up and go to work the next day. Oh, I see the faith in him. When the doctors say 2 weeks ago, I hear. Oh, I say I hear. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? A quarter of my brain is dead. Oh, I have the faith in him. Mr. Johnson, we don't understand. I'm not supposed to be talking, walking, doing anything. Can you hear me?
Top that.
That was deep. You said it was. He tried to warn me. That was deep.
Yeah.
That was deep.
I'm gonna toss up now. Do something new, do something new. Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. Do something new. All right. Yeah, we got some. So sweet. Since Daisy's on granddaughter can be right now. You're next. You wanna come up?
Be more graceful next time.
I'm really great. We're trying to figure out what to do, so I'm gonna go ahead and do,
Do my favorite.
Yeah.
You want the hot spot favorite?
Tonight's hotspot favorite is foundations.
There it is. You call something else.
Interesting thing, this is gonna be the first time I've really done it in a microphone like
Well, all right.
this. Yeah. So, let's see. Because I was raised in a house that was filled with love and some tension. They're not quite perfect, though nothing man-made ever really is, but it was just enough for the life that I lived for me to lay down foundations. And I grew as a man to understand that my every definition of a relationship began with trust and ended in some higher level of faith. And that anything less than that was less than a waste of my time and of my efforts and of my emotions. And not to mention the darkness that can form in those corners where seeds of light would need to fight in order to survive and bleed all night. But when life has to rise, we just do whatever needs to be done until the sun greets us again. And then we pick those bricks from the sticks and stones, letting our successes be the revenge on those who failed to break our bones. Let them be the ones who made us stronger than death, till it takes life itself to take away our very last breath. And we had agreed to work this land together. Knowing that I would need her sensitivity and that she would need my strength, I gave her mine and she shared hers with me, captured within our hearts and exchanged ever so effortlessly. But no one ever taught us how to work our way through the weeds. And through a lifetime of scattered opportunities, we both planted erratic seeds. But sometimes what grows from the past and the darkest parts of your heart starts to erode in the present what your future truly needs. Because your parents can only show you how to love. But they argue amongst themselves behind their own closed doors, and that's what creates the void that keeps you alive and you fly. 4, 3, you two become separate ones. And just as what's lived can't be forgotten, sometimes what's said can't be undone, and those weeds continue to grow. See, only things proven to do so in a vacuum, and it's the light and the love that's the first things consumed. As you're screaming across a sea of silence while you're side by side in the same bed, in the same room, but I was raised in a house that was filled with love and some tension. No, not quite perfect, though nothing man-made ever really is, but it was just enough for the life that I lived, for me to lay down foundations. And so maybe if I had seen more of the less than heavenly side of love that sometimes makes a grown man run, I would have learned that not everyone you give your heart to knows what the hell to do with it. Maybe I would have learned that love is a balance worth having in your life, but that the lack of it isn't a valid reason to die inside because it's stronger than any truth and it's deeper than any lie. Maybe I would have learned that being the last man standing sometimes means you're the first one to witness everyone else's left out. But I was raised in a home that was filled with love and some tension. No, not quite perfect, though nothing man-made ever really is. But it was just enough for the life that I lived for me to lay down foundations.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I want to do something. I feel like I owe you guys one because a couple weeks back we did a show and I made mention of the fact that we are one poet short.
Uh-huh. Put them lyrics on the wall. Look at Grandma.
And she's doing it. She's doing it. No denying that she's on it. Yeah, my dear friend Mark Lynch passed away.
Yes.
And it was quite the surprise to everyone. I don't think anyone outside his immediate circle knew what in the wide world of sports was going on. All I can tell you is that he had a triple bypass. A few weeks later, he was back with us, did 2 powerful shows, and then he was absent. And then I got the word from his wife that he was no longer with us. She asked me to do something at his homegoing celebration, and I did the piece that I'm about to do for you guys now. And it's still in my system. I can't help it. His pictures are still saved on my phone. We've used his images in our marketing before, so almost anytime I pull up some of the old flyers, there he is, doing his thing. This is a classic Mark Lynch pose. He commanded the room. It's crazy. It was crazy. He just had a presence about him. And it's always going to be felt. So this is a piece that I did called Here Was a Poet. We're such creatures of habit. We men, women, people. Holding on to what moves us. Choosing to focus our minds on some relevant point in time as if time were all we had. But it's not. And we're wrong. Here was a poet. A man whose words served a purpose, giving definition to the incomprehensible, adding unmeasurable value to the worthless. When he took command of the mic stand, we would sit in awe, spellbound, and through his verbiage and tone, he cast his poetic spell down. And by the time his time had run down, we were all elated and elevated by what had just went down. For this was a poet. Gifted with a blessing and enabled to be messing with your mind, not just derailing your train of thought, his writing could reroute your whole freight line. And your only takeaway is he would step away from the mic was so clear. Those are the words of a poet still ringing in my ear. But we're such creatures of habit. We men, women, people. Holding on to what moves us. Choosing to focus our minds on some relevant point in time as if time were all we had. But it's not. And we're wrong. I'm reminded of a technique that African hunters would use to capture wild monkeys. Having discovered their favorite food item, it's a nut whose name escapes me. They would place this nut in a jar that had a narrow mouth opening. The monkey would reach inside to get the nut and wouldn't be able to pull out his hand as long as he held onto the nut. The hunters would tie ropes to the jars and just pull them back into captivity. And all the monkeys needed to do to escape was let it go. So I'm letting go of the pain of his passing, for I know that this time was by his design. I'm releasing those feelings that bite, burn, and sting, replacing them with those memories that made my heart sing, because I was there. I was a part of that moment. I can remember the times of Mark Lynch. And we're such creatures of habit. We men, women, people. Holding on to what moves us. Choosing to focus our minds on some relevant point in time as if time were all we had. But it's not. And we're wrong.
All right.
know how sometimes, hey, come on in, welcome to the Wordplay Cafe. I'm like, sometimes, it's like that one missed opportunity, that little something that you always wanted to do that you never had a chance to do. Mark owed me a drum solo. He got his African drum. We were at the coffee shop. He said, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna bring that drum, some kind of African drum," and he was gonna tear that bad boy up. And I'm like, "Okay, bring the drum, bring the drum, bring the drum." Never bought the drum. Let me see if I can get that drum. I want that drum. I don't know, maybe not. How you doing? She's always wonderful. She's okay. No, I mean, sometimes you're marvelous. Then sometimes you're okay. How about you guys help me welcome back to the mic my partner in rhyme, Desiree and Anaya.
Okay. You'll get him. Yeah, it's right there.
Let me whisper sweet nothings in your ear until our tomorrows become our yesterdays, and our yesterdays become our todays. Until the moon sheds its light on our days and the sun brightens our nights. I just want to be there for you. Like the air that fills your lungs and the skin that protects you. Like the muscles that keep you moving and the food that fuels you. I want to be irreplaceable. I want to be the first thing you think of in the morning and the last face you see at night. The first sound you hear will be my voice, and as your eyes close, it will also be the last. I want to be the one who dries your tears, the one who cheers you on and holds you up when you fall, the one who never thinks you're weak or less of a man because you seek solace in me. You see, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to hold your hand when you feel lonely. I'm here to sing to you when you can't sleep. You know you're my baby. I'm here to guide you to your destiny. And when you appear bold and fearless to the world, I'm here to calm the fears that they don't see. I'm part of you. I'm that irregular rhythm you feel every other 8th beat. I'm that hunger at 3:73 in the morning, that thought that crosses your mind at least 300 times a day. I'm the breath you take between breaths. I breathe you, you live me. You are my heart's spoken word, my life's open mic. You're the reason I see poetry, the venue of my soul. Thank you. That piece is pretty new. I wrote it, I think it was last month, and actually finished it at a venue in Tampa as I was waiting to be called up to the mic.
So what about our favorite Desiree? What happened to that?
Oh, the one that you like?
Yes.
Oh.
That's supposed to be
I have never done a nasty piece here, and I never will. Yes, just because of that camera. Exactly. As long as that camera is working.
It's our theme song. Make love to me all day.
I need you to make love to me. I need you to make love to me all day. I need you to make love to me all day, today, and every day for the rest of our lives. I need you to hold my hand as we walk down the aisle of the supermarket. I need you to touch me for no specific reason while we sit side by side in church. I need you to whisper in my ear, I love you at the most inappropriate time. I need you to massage my feet while we're sitting in front of the television, you watching your game and me while I'm reading a book. I need you to win me that stupid teddy bear at the county fair. I need you to dance with me to the music in our head and the rhythm in our bodies in the middle of Main Street. I need you to massage my back while we stand in the ticket line at the theater. I need you to play with me, laugh with me, tickle me, be my forever playmate. I need you to make love to my mind, never forgetting how much I just love talking with you.
Rewind.
I need you to make love to my mind, never forgetting how much I just love talking with you. I need you to remember that you are my heart, my lover, my best friend, my covering. I need you to hold me close, simply because you know how much I just love how it feels to be wrapped in your arms.
Rewind.
I need you to hold me close. Simply because you know how much I just love how it feels to be wrapped in your arms. You've reached your rewind point.
Okay.
You should have waited till this next part. I need you to tell me when I'm out of sorts. When I'm not quite myself. A little over the top. Okay, when I'm just acting crazy. Somebody's in it for you.
Thank you.
I need you to tell me when I'm out of sorts. When I'm not quite myself. A little over the top. Okay, when I'm just acting crazy. I need you to kiss me soft and kiss me slow. I need you to remember that nothing is perfect. I need you to remember that no one is perfect, but this is. I need you to hug me before you leave in the morning. I need you to hug me when you return. I need you to hold me while I sleep. But most of all, I need you to make love to me. I need you to make love to me all day. I need you to make love to me all day, today, and every day for the rest of our lives. Thank you.
That's it.
Yeah, that's our theme song.
Yeah, that's it, song.
Okay. Before my partner Ron comes back up, is there anyone else here who would like to come up to the mic and do a piece for us? Doesn't have to be long. It could be a 6 square feet. I'm just saying. Not yet. They're debating. Okay. Lois, would you like to do another piece, or is that it for you tonight? You would like to do another piece? Okay. Make Love to Me wasn't like for you. I mean, it wasn't my usual, doom and gloom. This is lunacy. Lois lunacy. Okay. Let us welcome back up to the Wordplay Cafe mic, Lois.
All right.
Okay, I do this once a year on a microphone, and you have the wonderful privilege of being the recipients this time.
Right.
Most of my friends who've known me all my life have asked me never to do this again. And I memorized this poem when I was 12 to impress my 7th grade boyfriend. We used to hold hands and walk by the side of the Hudson River and throw rocks at the rats. So with that.
Know about that.
But that was Yonkers and a few lifetimes ago. So anyhow, I guess I did, this is how cookie I started out at 12. So I memorized this in order to make him think that I was very intellectual and sophisticated. Jabberwocky by Lewis Carroll. 'Twas brilliant and slimy toasted iron dimble on the wave. On them see the boragos and the moments so brave. Beware the jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the jub bird and shun the furious snatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand, on time the manson foe he sought. Then rested he by the tantum tree, and stood awhile in thought. And as an uppish thought he stood, the jabberwock with eyes of flame came looking through the tulgey wood, and bubbled as it came. Then to and through the vorpal blade went snicker snack. He left it dead, and with its head rumpled back. And hast thou slain the jabberwock? Come to my arms, my Danish boy. O Forgestay, Kalukale, he chortled in his joy. 'Twas bird, the slimy toes, stick iron nibble in the way. Only see the boragos and the moments. Great. Thank you.
Excellent. Give Lois another hand. That was a whole other language, by the way. Most of that was not English.
Yeah, that was from Through the Looking Glass.
Yes. That's the other way. Up is the other way. You're backwards. Where you going? Another piece? Okay. You want to do another piece? Yeah. What time is it? What time is it? It's 10 to? As you can see, I like to play a lot. He's a little more serious than I am. Yeah. Okay, so let us. What music?
You asked me if I wanted to do I cried out already.
That's
But apparently not a spoken word was heard. All of the signs were there, and each of them was well lit. It was quite the sight to see for those predisposed and those who had tuned into it. But maybe, just maybe, if you had tried to listen, none of this would have happened at all. They say ostrich heads hid deep in the sand can't avoid or erase the painful landslides that a man's emotions can create. And it's a magnetic sinkhole that's taken hold of my friends and those who are close enough to be called my family, and those who are genetically doomed to be called my family, but they tend to lend a special name to this particular brand of insanity. And once the smoke clears, the loudest question to echo after me will be, was this what God had planned? Because I saw the same bright lights that should have led me to more than a double-spaced 72-point headline in a video gone viral. Those lights led a one-way path that called louder to me than anyone who ever claimed to love me. Those lights lit abscessed cavities filled with blood-red memories that walked and talked 180 degrees to the love they said I'd find. But in my mind, it was all or nothing that gets taken or left behind. And no one chose to disclose the downside of dark thoughts. And so now, amid a sea of burnt-out lights whose nights will never end, there's a place for me. There's a space for me amongst the fallen, and so like Icarus, I fell. But you watched me. You watched me coming up a bright and promising star, but the melanin of this chocolate skin hid those tears that flowed like the sticks, and each devilish deed only managed to plant a seed of regret, and each beget the next brick that built a wall so thick you couldn't go around, you couldn't go over, and you most definitely couldn't go through it, because sometimes sticks and stones, they break more than just bones. Sometimes they break hearts. Sometimes they break lives. Sometimes they break families and homes. When love turns to pain, we tend to refrain from other options, right? Because love's supposed to be that come-all, end-all emotion that compels us all. But what happens when the loved must suffer and bleed? I mean, what do you do if your all was less than the need? Tell me, where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the finish line when your jog becomes a race amongst runners who aren't racing? I said, where do you draw the finish line when your jog becomes a race amongst runners who aren't racing? And how do you find your way back to the beginning when the best use for all those steps it took that got you there is in a race?
Rewind.
You need rewinds. Where do you draw the line when your jog becomes a race amongst runners who aren't racing? He said, where do you draw the finish line when your job becomes a race amongst runners who aren't racing? And how do you find your way back to the beginning when the best use for all those steps that got you there is in your racing? And sometimes we can turn around those weapons on those who attack, and instead of burying the knife, it's a hand that you feel in your back, because both of us know this can't go on. This shit has got to stop, and so I fell. But maybe it was my tongue. Because I cried out for help already. Apparently not a spoken word was heard. All the signs were there, and each of them was well lit. It was quite the sight to see for those predisposed and those who were tuned into it. But maybe, just maybe, if you had tried to listen, none of this shit would have happened at all.
Hey.
Our spoken word was there.
No.
Rewind.
Rewind.
Our spoken word was there.
Nah.
They say spoken word is a dying art.
Nah.
Her arteries are hardened, congestive heart failure, so she can no longer make it to the venue. She has COPD and emphysema, so even if she made it here, she couldn't spit. And I heard she just collapsed. Someone is performing CPR and the crowd is crying, please don't let her die, who will tell her story? You can't let her die, who will be her voice? And I'm the paramedic. As I rushed towards spoken word, I grabbed my defibrillator. See, I was told she was unconscious and not breathing, quite dead by all accounts. But as I knelt by her side, I realized spoken word was not dead. Let me rewind myself.
Rewind.
I don't do this often, but I did it tonight. I'm reminding myself and starting from the beginning.
All right.
They say spoken word is a dying art.
Mm-hmm.
Her arteries are hardened, congestive heart failure, so she can no longer make it to the venue. She has COPD and emphysema, so even if she made it here, she couldn't spit. And I heard she just collapsed. Someone's performing CPR and the crowd was crying, please don't let her die, who will tell her story? You can't let her die, who will be her voice? And I'm the paramedic. As I rushed towards spoken word, I grabbed my defibrillator. See, I was told she was unconscious and not breathing, quite dead by all accounts. And my job is to save the living and to bring the dead back to life. But as I knelt by her side, I realized spoken word was not dead. Her heart was an AFib, quivering within her chest, unable to regain her natural rhythm. So I bared her chest, prepared the paddles, and shocked her heart back into rhythm. And a few seconds later, she gasped. So I stepped to the mic, bearing my soul, telling my story, one word at a time. Because spoken word is not dead, as long as I, you, we can run. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming out to Wordplay Cafe here at Tbones Hot Spot, 2667 Mall Drive. We are here every other Saturday. So we will see you 2 weeks from tonight. Looking forward to seeing you guys back. Thank you so much for coming out. Kevin, looking forward to seeing you out again. We'll be here in 2 weeks. Okay. Ashley, looking forward to seeing you here again. We'll be here in 2 weeks.
Seeing and hearing. And just in case anybody has another word yet, you can always connect with us on Facebook. Wordplay Cafe, Device One, Days Ray the Poet, Tbones Hot Spot.
Yep.
So we got all kinds of ways to be connected and stay in touch with what's going on with Wordplay Cafe.
Where life is at its most expressive.
Word by word.
Thank you so much for coming out. Good night.
Music.